Hey YouTube, this is TCG Outcast, and in this week's episode I have another deck profile for you wonderful people. This week we're going to be taking a look at one of the most top tier and competitive decks within the Digimon TCG. I'm of course talking about none other than the red Omnimon deck. Now if you're a little bit like me and you're still new to the Digimon TCG series, you may be a bit unsure of what decks are the most competitive, unsure of what cards you should be looking to use, then this is definitely a video that I would recommend for you guys. I would just like to say firstly though that you do not have to take everything that I say in this video as gospel. You don't have to follow the deck profile to a T. This is literally just meant as a guide so that everybody can get kind of an idea on some of the cards you should be looking for and some of the combos that you might want to look for if you're looking to kind of up the game, make your decks a little bit more competitive within the current meta. Now that the introductions are out of the way though, I hope you all enjoy this week's episode. If you do, a like would be very much appreciated on the video, and make sure you hit that subscribe button as well so you never miss any of our weekly videos. Now within this deck profile I am currently running 3 of Pokèmon and I'm also running 2 of Digimon. I realise that not everybody will be running this. There are actually quite a lot of players out there, they like to play the opposite and they like to have more of Digimon than Pokèmon in there, but like I said at the start, this is just a guideline and this is what I prefer to play at the moment. So up next is going to be our rookie Digimon. This is specifically going to be our level 3 Digimon, and up first we have 4 of Agumon. This is Agumon from the starter deck, and we also have 4 of the promo Agumon, which I believe is from the booster packs. Both of these cards are really good in their own respects. The Agumon from the starter deck, on your turn you'll automatically get plus 1000 DP to your Digimon. The other Agumon, the promo Agumon, you actually get plus 2000 DP if this card has been digivolved into another card which has Greymon in its name, so it's a really good card to combo with some of your Digivolutions further on down the line. The other rookies that we are playing, we have 14 in total within this deck. We are playing quite a lot of Agumon, so because of that we do also have Agumon Expert. We are also playing 2 copies of this Agumon as well, which I believe is from the booster packs. And lastly, but simply not least, we are also playing 2 of Biomon. Like I said, Agumon Expert is in here just purely because we have so many different types of Agumon. When this card is revealed on play, you actually get to return one of your other Agumon from your discard pile to your hand, so it's a good way to kind of recycle out the cards and keep them coming. The other Agumon that we have, when that card is revealed on play, you actually get to draw the top 5 cards of your deck. If you have any Tamer cards within there, you actually get to add them to your hand, and then the remaining cards you can add them to the bottom of your deck in any order that you want, and you don't have to shuffle your deck at all. Biomon is in here as well, just purely for cost efficiency. With the red Omnimon decks, you will find a lot of the time that the deck does not have too many ways of getting memory back, so the fact that she only costs 2 to play is another good incentive to have it within the deck. So up next are going to be our champion Digimon. These are going to be our level 4s. Up first we are running 4 of Greymon. This is, I believe, Greymon from the Gaia Red starter deck, just like the Agumon. We do also have another Greymon in here. This one is from the booster packs. And lastly, but simply not least, we are of course going to be running 4 of Quadramon. This is pretty much the standard setup that I see everybody using when it comes to the red Omnimon decks. You're not going to see too much of a deviation from this. Quadramon is literally in here for those rookie rush decks. It's our main blocker, such a good card, and it's easy to get from the starter deck as well. The other Greymons that we have in here, they are both really good in their own respects. This Greymon from the booster pack, it actually gets plus 2000 DP on your turn. So if you combo this with the promo Agumon, this card can have 8000 DP on your turn. That's before you take into account any other effects. The other Greymon that we have from the starter deck, this card is just really good because it actually allows you to do 1 additional security check on your attack. So again, another good card to have. An alternative that I do see some people using is they like to use the, I believe it's Black Tyrannomon or Dark Tyrannomon, I can't remember the exact name, but you should see a picture on your screen right now so you get an idea of the card that I'm using, but that is another alternative that I see some people sometimes playing this as well. Moving on, we now have our ultimate Digimon. These are going to be our level 5 Digimon that we're using. Up first we have our Metal Greymon. We have 4 copies in this deck. This is again another card that you can get from the Red Gaia starter deck. We also have 4 copies of Lavagaritamon, or I believe some people like to call it Margaritamon. And lastly, but simply not least, we are also running 1 copy of Skull Greymon. Metal Greymon is in here. Like I said, it's just a really good card. It's easy to get as well from the starter deck. Again, it's another card that we can actually gain some memory back, which it seems to be a recurring theme with the red decks. There are not too many ways to get your memory back, so it's a good addition to have in here. Lavagaritamon is literally in here again, similar to Beamon. It's just purely down to cost efficiency. It only costs 2 to Digivolve. It doesn't have any kind of inherited abilities or anything like that, unfortunately, but it is still a really good card to have in here for an ultimate. Lastly, like I said, we are also playing the 1 copy of Skull Greymon. He is literally in here in case we run into any kind of like mirror matches and we're maybe running up against an opponent who's running quite a few Cordramon in their deck. Another alternative that I do see some people using is that they like to take out this Metal Greymon, or you could just drop the numbers on it. You could drop it down to 2, and you could drop Lavagaritamon down to 3, and some people like to actually play the super rare Metal Greymon. I will just warn you though that if you do want to use that card, it is a little bit expensive. Right now within the markets, from what I've seen, it's going for about £20 to £25 per card, so if you do want to get a couple of those in here, whilst it is a really good card, it is going to set you back a pretty penny if you want a couple of copies of it. So now we are going to be going over our level 6 Digimon. These are going to be some of our megas that we run in this deck. We have 3 Phoenixmon, which again is just pretty much a standard that everybody goes for. We're also running 2 Blitz Greymon. We are also running 1 Volcanic Dramon, and we are running 2 alternate versions of War Greymon. Phoenixmon, again another card very similar to Beamon and Lavagaritamon, just purely in here for cost efficiency. Only costs 2 to Digivolve. Unfortunately, it doesn't have any effects. I think if it did, it would probably just be a bit too OP. So, and again, it's another really easy card to get a hold of. You can actually get this card from the Red Gaia starter deck, so definitely something that you guys should be investing in. Blitz Greymon is literally in here because it just makes the deck so much more consistent. It has a piercing ability, so even if you do end up attacking your opponent's Digimon, you can still do your security checks, and if you combo this with some of the other cards like Greymon or anything like that, you can get a couple of additional security checks, which is a nice way to kind of wipe out your opponent's backbench a little bit quicker. Volcanic Dramon, again, just kind of a no-brainer. Seems to be the standard format that everybody goes for with this deck. So again, another card that I would definitely recommend that you invest in. Lastly, we, as I said, have the 2 variations of War Greymon. This War Greymon is from the Red Gaia starter deck also, and this one is from the booster packs. Now, they're both good within their own respects, but I don't see too many people using this, which I don't understand why, because it is such a good card. The War Greymon from the booster packs, this actually allows you to, when you attack, you don't have to worry about triggering any of your opponent's security checks. This Greymon, War Greymon I should say, like I said, I do not see too many people using it, and I don't understand why, because it is such a good card. Please, please, please do not sleep on this card, because it can have 3 security checks with just 1 attack. And on top of that as well, if you combo this with the right cards, so if you combo this with the promo Ogomon and the other Greymon, it can have like plus 4000 DP. That's not even including any of the effects that you're going to get from Digimon or Koromon or any of your Tamers or anything like that. So this card can be swinging for like plus 6,000-7,000 DP, and then it is going to have like 3 security checks on the back of that as well. So absolutely insane card to use. Now lastly, and simply not least for our Digimon, we are going to be using the level 7 Digimon. This is of course going to be the cards that you are all looking for. Now I'm going to tell you what cards I'm using. Please do not judge me and do not jump to conclusions, and I'll explain exactly why I'm running the cards that I am. So up first we have our Omnimon Alter S. We are running 1 copy of this, and we are also going to be running 1 copy of regular Omnimon. Unfortunately, I do not have the regular Omnimon at the moment. It is currently on order. Now, I know some people are going to be freaking out thinking, why are you only playing 2? Most people play at least 5 or 6. Well, there is a couple of reasons for that. So the first reason primarily is because of cost. I'm not talking about cost efficiency within the actual deck, I'm talking about the actual cost of the cards. These cards are not cheap. The regular Omnimon is going to cost you about £50. That's not including any of the alternate artworks or anything like that. And the regular Omnimon Alter S is costing right now between £60 and £75. The other reason that I'm not running too many is because we actually just recently had some, I don't know if you would call them leaks, but information from the Japanese series that they're actually going to be adding in the Omnimon Bonds of Courage card. Now somebody's actually been able to translate some of the effects on that card, and if I'm completely honest with you, the card is absolutely nuts. Like, the effects on it are absolutely nuts, so I do feel like that is definitely going to be a game changer. And lastly, is also because within the current meta, I've actually been seeing that the red Omnimon decks have been running into a little bit of trouble with the red and yellow control Shine Greymon decks. Right now, there was another YouTuber said it the other day, I watched this video, and he said that right now the red Omnimon decks, they are pretty much in an adapt or die state. Which maybe sounds a bit dramatic, but it is pretty much what I've seen. There are quite a lot of people that they are just sticking to the normal way of using red Omnimon, and if they do that, they run into problems. So right now we need to look at ways of adapting the decks so that we can overcome those other obstacles. And that, in actual fact, leads me on nicely to the last couple of cards that we have in our deck. Now, as I said, we are running a couple of different Tamers, so we have two of the Kamiya from the starter deck. We also have two of Kamiya from the booster packs. Both of these cards, again, really good within their own respects. The original Kamiya from the starter deck, this gives you plus 1000 DP on your turn, so it's a really good card for comboing with some of the megas that you have in there. Like I said, if you combo it with the War Greymon, you can get like an extra 3 security attacks and have that card swinging for like plus 6,000-7,000 DP. The other Kamiya, the reason that we have this card in here is again because we don't have too many ways to get memory back. So if we automatically start the turn with 2 or less memory, this card is going to put it at 3 memory. On top of that as well, whenever we make any attacks, we actually get an additional security check for every 4 or more Digivolution cards attached to it. So again, this is a really good card for comboing with your megas, and you can just wipe out your opponent, hopefully within like 1 or 2 attacks. Lastly, we are also playing 2 option cards. This is pretty much a no-brainer. It's Gaia Force. If you run any, it doesn't have to be red Omnimon, just any kind of red deck, I would recommend playing Gaia Force. This is such a good card, it's really easy to get as well within the starter decks. Do not play any more than 2 though, because I've seen quite a lot of people doing that. I tried it as well for a time, and the deck itself, it just became too bricky. The fact that it costs 8 to use, but it is still definitely a good card that you should consider using in here. So that is going to about wrap it up for this week's episode. I hope you all enjoyed this deck profile, and if you did, a like would be very much appreciated on the video. Make sure you never miss any of our weekly content as well by hitting that subscribe button with the notification bell turned on. And if you want to follow me over on Twitter, that should be in the link down below, so you can follow me for daily memes. Let me know down in the comments section what your favourite deck profile is to use within the current Digimon meta, and please make sure you let me know any future content that you guys would like me to cover as well. I hope you all stay safe and enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you all in the next one.
Pick up.